Hello and welcome back. I'm here with our guest artist tonight, Mr. Lawrence Brownlee, and we're so pleased to welcome him. And welcome to Tallahassee, Larry.
It's nice to be here. It's my first time in Tallahassee.
How do you like it so far?
I'm enjoying it. I got a chance to see some of the city today, and so it's one of the places. I live in Florida, so it's not so far away. I'll try to come back at some point.
We would love to have you back. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you these days.
Thank you.
On the repertoire.
Likewise.
It's a very fun program. We have a mix of arias, we have a mix of spirituals. It's really great to see you in such a diverse spotlight. Tell me, you grew up in a musical family, I understand.
I did. I'm one of 6 kids, and my father and mother are both musicians, not professional musicians, but we had a very active music program in our church. And so since they were involved several days of the week in music, we had music in our house. Our house was full of music, and I'm one of 6 kids, so all of my siblings sang, and so we made music all the time. So it was very natural for me to, I guess, be a musician, a professional musician. Even though they weren't, I was just raised around music all the time.
And aside from singing, did you play any instruments?
I started with instruments.
Okay.
There's a funny story that later on, I guess my voice was discovered, but I gravitated towards instruments. I played the drums first, and then I started on other instruments, electric guitar, and I played the trumpet in junior high school band, elementary school band, and junior high school band. And then finally, I ended up playing the bass guitar. So if I had to pick an instrument that was like my major instrument, my main one is the bass guitar, and I love it.
Fantastic. Do you still play? I
I
saw a
do
little
play.
bit on
I
your
don't
Instagram
play.
channel.
I tell people all the time that my fingers don't work quite the way they used to. It could be old age at 47 years old. But I've lost a little bit of my dexterity, but I do still love the instrument.
So how did you end up in the world of opera? How did you arrive there?
There's an interesting story about that as well. When I was in high school, I was involved in show choir and other things, and I was very visible because in our city we had a very active music program.
This is Youngstown,
Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio. I got singled out for my voice, and I was involved in choir at my school and other things, so people had heard my voice. But the gifted students in our city were chosen to take part in a program at the university, a school called Youngstown State University. And part of that program is that we got a chance to take lessons in classical music. And so at that point, my instrument was my voice. And I began to take voice lessons for the first time. So at the end of this program, we had to give a recital. And I really didn't know too much about classical singing. I was taking the lessons and really mocking what I thought an opera singer sounded like. And I remember singing at this recital at the end, and there was a teacher who approached my father and I, and after I'd sung, and he said, "Where are you? Where are you from? And who are you? Because you have this amazing gift to sing classical music, amazing gift, and you have to share your voice with the world." And at that point, I thought, I was just kind of playing around, mocking what I thought an opera singer sounds like, and he said, "No, son, you have something incredible. You have a gift that the world needs to hear." And I thought, okay, I guess. So I went to school undecided my first year of college at Youngstown State University, and I studied with him because he was a voice teacher. And that year, I did a voice competition. It's a competition called National Association of Singers, NATS.
Yeah.
So I go and I enter in freshman men, and I sing, and I win first place. And people are like really very positive about my singing. And I think, okay, maybe there's something, here that I should pursue. And it was after that I began to take it seriously. And then I changed to being a voice major, music major, and that was the beginning of my path.
Yeah, we met while at grad school at Indiana University a few years back. My claim to fame is that I had my opera debut in the opera chorus in your performance of Faust under Imre Palo.
Yes.
A wonderful memory, wonderful production. What was it like for you being in Indiana? I mean, it's such a huge school. You arrived there, and 2,000 plus students, over 300 singers in the opera program. I mean, it's incredible. What was that like coming to Indiana?
Well, the interesting thing is I came from a very, very small school, and my undergrad teacher didn't want me to go to Indiana because he felt like it was too big, and he didn't want me to be a small fish in a big pond. He thought that I should go someplace that would be more focused on me individually. But as you said, there were so many graduate students and undergrads and people who were not music majors auditioning for every type of performance. And we had 6 operas that year and all the concerts and so many different things. A lot of people were trying out for roles and to be able to sing. And so I'm glad I went there because it taught me a certain resilience and desire to work hard because I had to compete with people who were talented. And so it gave me the fire underneath me to really be serious about things and take it very serious and go to the library and listen to people and go to recitals because something was always going on. And I grew a lot in that time. I got a chance to be on the stage with, you mentioned Imre Paulo.
Yes.
He really is the one who taught me how to sing with orchestra. And always we had this special connection that we would be in touch. And he taught me about musicality and so many other things. And so I have so many fond memories of Indiana University, but it taught me a lot. And that training that I got has prepared me for the career that I'm enjoying today.
No, it was shortly after Faust you won the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions, and you
Yes.
were really launched into the big time.
That was the beginning of my career.
So, just curious, you've performed all over the world. I mentioned earlier Covent Garden and Vienna State Opera, La Scala, of course, the Metropolitan Opera. Do you have a favorite memory of a performance that sticks out to you in all these years?
Oh my gosh, there are many. There are many, but the one that, for different reasons, it doesn't mean that it was the most successful performance for me, but it could be something that we had a tremendous connection with the entire cast. I remember a very dear friend of mine, Joyce DiDonato.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom died during a run of performances, and we couldn't believe it, but Joyce performed that next night on the stage. And it was with Samuel Ramey and now the late John Del Carlo and Russell Braun and Joyce DiDonato and myself. But the support that we all had for her and that we all came together. And when she gave a great performance that she dedicated to her mom. But at the end of the curtain, like everybody just kind of like got in a circle and wept and embraced. And we wanted to give her that, great foundation and support of friendship. And it was a meaningful performance for all of us because we wanted to do our best in tribute to her mom. So that's probably the most memorable one that, I've taken part in.
That's beautiful. We find ourselves now in the midst of the pandemic. I think since humans existed, we have never been so prohibited from doing what is so natural, which is to make music. And of course, it struck both the opera and the symphony world greatly. What have you found with all this new free time during the pandemic? What kind of things have you explored?
Well, I've been doing a lot of things, and I'm very active on social media. I'm doing a couple shows where I host a few things. I do a talk show that I've gotten a chance to interview people like Martina Arroyo.
The sit down
with LB. And so Martina Arroyo, George Shirley, Denise Graves, Pretty Ende, Angel Blue. I have Simon Estes coming up. So I've been doing a lot of those things because I've always thought that if I wasn't an opera singer, I could do many other things. So it's given me the opportunity to pursue some of my hobbies, but also some of the other passions, and doing some mentoring and other things like that. So I've been trying to stay busy, but I'm like you. My passion is to be on the stage and to perform and to touch people and to really be able to share what I feel like is a God-given, gift that I have. And so I want to be a good steward of it. And I think I get a lot of excitement to be in front of people, not for my own gain necessarily, but just to be able to share, because I think people get great pleasure in classical music, orchestra, and opera. And what I'm hoping is when we do come out of COVID, I'm hopeful that we will at some point, that people will flock to the theaters and they'll flock to the symphony halls. They'll be back in the places that were built and constructed for us to make live music. So in the meantime, we must forge ahead, we must carry on and to do things like we're doing, but everyone's ready to get back into what it is we love so much.
What does it feel like being here and making music for the first time since winter?
Oh, it's been, performing with you, and the Tallahassee Symphony has been so much fun for me. Again, as an artist, in feeling, the collective performance of all the musicians, the instrumentalists behind me, is something that I was eager to get back to. And so I'm happy that it happened here in the state that I live and make my residence. And the orchestra is playing so beautifully. And you did a great job. We had a great connection. So it's nice to share this moment to get back going again.
Well, thank you again for being here. A couple of fun questions for the end, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, coffee or tea?
Coffee, but I drink tea now because I have acid reflux, so I don't drink coffee anymore. But I prefer coffee.
I see.
If it didn't do me harm, I would take coffee.
All right. Favorite type of ice cream?
My favorite type of ice cream, either butter pecan or peanut butter cup.
Nice choice. Approved. Let's see. High C or high D?
High C.
What's the highest note you've ever sung in a performance?
The highest note I've ever sung in performance in full voice, not doing falsetto, whatever that, the voix mixte. A high F in Puritani.
Wow.
So I have to wear my shoes one size too small.
Finally, what music do you listen to when you're in the car by yourself?
Gosh.
What do you love?
A lot of different things. I listen to everything from I grew up in church, so gospel is I listen to that a lot. But I listen to vocal jazz is one of my favorite things in the world.
Okay.
Huge fan of Take Six and Manhattan Transfer, New York Voices, The Real Group. I can name a ton of other vocal jazz groups. No instrumentation, just strictly voices. So I do that, but also I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s, so some hip hop and R&B I like to listen to, and classical music. I listen to Lieder, a lot of Lieder and French chanson, but I like everything. I love orchestral suites, love Mahler, love Beethoven, so everything. And that's the thing I love about music is that you don't have to choose only one style. You can appreciate many, many different styles.
Well, thank you for bringing your love of music to Tallahassee and sharing your gift with us. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to work with you, to have you here in our community, and to bring the beauty of music back to Tallahassee.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here with you.